Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite. And I'm going to say the show, if I was voting with you guys, was just all right. Like outside of the Hangman stuff, I wasn't interested in anything. Nothing piqued my interest outside of the Hangman stuff. I thought Hangman versus Josh Alexander was a really good match. I thought the Hangman Kyle Fletcher promo was pretty good, not great. And then everything else was just there. Like, why did we need a street fight on this show? Why did we have to do the Philadelphia street fight with Tony Storm and Blue Sky? Now, chat, correct me if I've missed something on Collision, but I don't think I did. Like, it made no sense. And I am not a fan of, oh, let's do staples. Staples to the butt. Staples to the boob, staples to the cooch. I'm like, what? Your stapled or vagina? Like, come on, really? Not entertaining in any way. So, and then the whole mousetrap thing. We'll get into it, but the whole mousetrap thing, that was dumb too. I didn't like the mousetraps because they didn't like. They went off when they weren't even touching them. Like they had them set up in a way to where when the mousetraps. When Tony Storm was slammed on the mousetraps, it might have went off, but not in a way that would have hurt her at all. And so Danielson had to jump in and be like, well, you know, when you get slammed on a table, it hurts worse if it doesn't break than if it breaks. And I'm just like, oh, you're trying to, because like Tony was laying against it. And then when she moved, they all started going off, right? And so, like, that's when the commentary had to improvise, and Danielson was good on that, really good on that. So, yeah, not that great of a street fight. I saw some people really liking it, but hey, if that's your forte, that's your forte. I thought it wasn't as good as the Donnybrook match with Sheamus and Rusev. I thought that was a better street fight style match than this was. So, and that was just, what, a week ago? 2 weeks ago now? 2 weeks ago now. But with all of that, just an all right show. Just an all right episode of AEW Dynamite, if I'm going to be completely honest. And as far as the all-in show, or all-out show does go, what do we only get? One new match tonight, I want to say? I'm double-checking on that. Two new matches, technically, because they also told us, and I don't know why it needs to be a three-way. We're getting a three-way for the title at Forbidden Door. Like, it's really going to probably end up being Okada, Takeshita, and Beast Mortos. Why the fuck does Beast Mortos need to be in there? This needs to just be Okada versus Takeshita, because they've been playing it up that they can't get along. And so I wanted to see Takeshita just go, oh, you think you're the best? Put your title on the line. You think you're the number one in the Don Callis family? Put your title on the line. Fight me at All Out. But no, Tony's got to do some stupid, dumbass bullshit tournament and make it a three-way when you've been building up to a singles match between Okada and Takeshita to just what? It's either going to be Masquerade and Beast Mortos, and I don't see it being Masquerade, so it's probably going to be Mortos there. Like, Takeshita's going to beat Anthony Bowens. Of course, Okada's going to beat Michael Oku, and why is Okada in this at all? So he's literally defending his title twice in this tournament. Once against Michael Oku, and then against the other two guys. Like, that doesn't make any sense. None of this unified title match makes any sense, tournament-wise, and none. Like, it's just Tony doing fucking stupid Tony shit. Oh, let's overbook it to overbook it. Yeah, fuck all of that. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, help us out over on YouTube. You can help us out over there by hitting that excuse me, subscribe button. That way you know we post new videos. That way you know we go live. And that way you know we post the community tab. As far as new videos do go, well, looks like WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia in 2027. And we have 2 new videos up with new info and details on that today on the channel over on YouTube. So go check those out. We had one about the announcement-ish, sort of, kind of, with Turkey Al-Shahik, I think is how you say it, and some slight info coming from PW Insider. And then we had a full extra details breakdown from Fightful that stated, hey, we might get this announcement on Friday officially. So we'll see how that all does go. But also remember, if you want to support the channel in another way, you can do so by subscribing and becoming a channel member by hitting that join button. By hitting the join button, you get a badge next to your name, emotes, and emojis that you can use in the live chat. And as low as the $1 tier, you get access to our graphics tutorials. Also, at the $5 tier, you get our graphics packages and so much more. And finally, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Today, it was officially announced that John Cena's getting a new Fortnite skin as Peacemaker. So if you're like, oh, I need the new John Cena skin in Fortnite, well, when you're buying that skin from the store, it's going to ask you at the bottom if you've got a code, a creator code, and you do. It's PW Unlimited. That's PWU Unlimited. Whether you're playing on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your computer, your Switch, your phone, your tablet, your Amazon Fire Stick, your Google Store, TV, or more. So many things you can play Fortnite on now. You can use our code, not just through the Epic Games Store, but through Fortnite itself on any platform. Again, they don't think they gave us a date on when we're getting the excuse me, on when we're getting the Peacemaker skin. I can double check on that, but it is coming soon. Let's see. Peacemaker Fortnite. Peacemaker Fortnite. We also get the emote of the dance from the opening sequence. Like, holy crap. Yeah, all we got here from a couple different of the Fortnite leakers and whatnot. It just says 2 bundles. And we've got, he's going to have just a skin with and without the helmet. Eagly is the back bling. He's going to have the a wrap that matches the outfit and his shield as well. So really, really cool stuff there. Getting some more John Cena in Fortnite. Also, the free games right now on the Epic Game Store. It is Momentum Valley, but then tomorrow you're going to want to claim this one, Ghost Runner 2. Ghost Runner is freaking phenomenal. And if you haven't played either of them, you don't need to play the first one or play the second one. So go get Ghost Runner 2 for free on the Epic Game Store. And if it asks us, some of the free games do, some of the free games don't, put in our code, PW Unlimited. But with all of that, as far as AEW Dynamite does go, the show opens up when we hear the anthem, the theme, the song of the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. So, wait, Power Rangers are back already, Palpatine? I did not know that. I know Master Chief is. I didn't know Power Rangers. There's no way Power Rangers are back in the store already. Really? Anyways. So Bryan Danielson comes down to the ring. He gets his own little entrance here. And Excalibur's telling us, Bryan, he's joined the commentary team. And not just for tonight. He's an official member of the commentary team. And then he says, because his days as a competitor, his in-ring days are behind him. So is that officially them saying Bryan Danielson is retired? Bryan Danielson is not wrestling anymore. Is that what they're saying? I don't know. But he said his competitor days, his in-ring days are behind him. Jordan, they're not Sonic skins. We're getting Sonic and Knuckles shoes for kicks. We're getting their shoes in Fortnite. Not skins, just their shoes. But yeah, very interesting comment there by Excalibur. Also, before we move forward, we're going to get this Esports Gaming Rules with a bit donation. He says, do you see the expected backlash with the expected WrestleMania 43 in Saudi announcement press conference, possibly on Friday before WWE, Lucha Libre, AAA, Worlds Collide, Las Vegas, Canelo versus Crawford Saturday? So that's a lot of, no offense, word salad. But according to Fightful, the report stated that WWE is going to be in Vegas this week. They got the Crawford Canelo fight they're promoting. They've got AAA on Friday night. And so at some point on Friday from Las Vegas, WWE will be making this announcement. And it makes sense. WWE representatives will be in Vegas on Friday. Turkey will be in Vegas probably Friday because they've got the fight on Saturday. So it does make sense where they're all going to be together, make that big announcement. I don't know where Triple H is going to be. If Triple H is going to be in Vegas, though, that means he's not going to be at SmackDown, which means he would miss both Raw and SmackDown this week because Triple H was not at Raw on Monday. Triple H was in LA for a conference talk, and then he went to, I don't know where it was, maybe Austin, Texas, Monday night, and was on Kill Tony. And then Tuesday he was in Indianapolis because he was speaking at the first ever TED Sports Indianapolis event. He was the headliner and the first to talk. And since he was in Indy, he was on Pat McAfee in the morning and did officially announce Cody Rhodes will be at WrestlePalooza. So we'll see how that all goes. But I see there's going to be backlash. To be completely honest, in my opinion, in my wholehearted opinion, you can hate me for it if you want. I don't give a rat's ass if it's in Saudi or not. I don't care where WrestleMania comes from. I'm not going. I'm staying home to review the show here because I'll make more money doing so. So to me, it doesn't matter. Like everyone's so mad at Vegas for a second year. Okay. But 90, 80 maybe % of the people complaining are people that aren't going anyways. That aren't going to be at the show live and we're never planning on going in New Orleans anyways. So it's like, I don't want to go to Vegas. Why are they going back to Vegas? You're not going to go anyways. So what are you bitching? You're going to watch it from your house and it's going to feel and look like the exact same show. So everybody's saying that this WrestleMania from Saudi is going to be horrible and bad because it's from Saudi. If it's horrible and bad, it's because it's going to have horrible and bad booking. Not because it's from Saudi. They're still going to put on the same type of show that they would put on regardless if it was in Saudi, if it was in New York, New Orleans, New Hampshire, New Brunswick. I don't care what new it's going to be in or where it's not going to be in. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Is the crowd going to be a little maybe down and ish and iffy? Yeah, because Saudi crowds are sometimes really iffy. And I don't know how many people are actually going to travel to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. So we'll have to wait and see. Also, I had the other question asked to me, where in Saudi Arabia do you think it's going to be? 99% sure Riyadh, because that's where the experience is. The WWE experience building is in Riyadh. So I'm almost definitely sure that it's going to be in Riyadh and they're going to do some events and stuff from that building. Like, why would you go to Jeddah with it? Maybe you do like another show in Jeddah, maybe like a Raw or a SmackDown from Jeddah. But I don't see them doing Mania in Jeddah. I think they do the majority of the stuff in Riyadh. But again, an official announcement is potentially set to be announced this weekend. According to PWU Insider, a press release was set out to Arabic-speaking media and then was immediately pulled. So we'll see how it all does go. But yeah. As far as Dynamite does go, we talked about Danielson coming out and Excalibur basically saying this man's fully retired. And with that note, Danielson also stated later when we were getting ready for the main event, he's like, I was told not just this match, but any match. If I get involved in matches, I'm fired. I have to be professional and stay to commentary. So as far as the show does go, Hangman came out and he had a match. He opened up the show here, coming out and having a pretty dang good match with Josh Alexander. Like, this match was, I would say, great. The only really good thing on the show. Everything else was just, to me, there. For some reason, my legs just started cramping up really bad. I don't know why. It is my bad leg, the one that I tore my meniscus years and years and years ago. So, and it is like right around the knee area. So it is kind of like locking up on me a little bit. Happens from time to time, but ow. That's why I keep looking down, because my leg's like kind of stiff. Anyways, Callis joined commentary here and glared at Danielson in disgust. Also, the commentary team is Excalibur, Taz, and Danielson. Shivani is now used for Dynamite as a backstage reporter, basically. He is in the, what's her name? Lexi Nair spot, basically. Because the backstage reporting tonight was done by Tony Schiavone and Renee Paquette. So as far as the match itself does go, there's a slugfest as the bell rang, and Paige sent Alexander to the floor with a springboard clothesline, but was caught mid-dive with an Alexander right hand and a brainbuster on the edge of the ring. Paige dodged a running Alexander crossbody, tried a moonsault off the apron into a tombstone, but Alexander slid out into an ankle lock. Paige then escaped and clotheslined Alexander into the front row. Alexander then got in some brief offense before being sent back to the floor, and Paige hit a slingshot plancha. Alexander then created enough space to recover, drag Paige outside, and successfully connect with the backdrop on the apron and a sliding crossbody to control during the break. Coming back, Alexander was in control, mowing down Paige with the big boot. The two were fighting back and forth, and Paige battled back with a fallaway slam and a Death Valley driver for a near fall. At one point, Paige made a rope break as Alexander synced in an ankle lock. Both went back to the apron where Alexander wanted a C4, but Paige countered into a deadeye. There's an Orihara moonsault that connected flush as Callis quickly ran some distraction on the referee as Archer and Rocky Romero would fail some interruption here. Romero was backdropped off the apron onto Archer. Paige then flipped in with a buckshot lariat and successfully put away Josh Alexander for the 3. 1, 2, 3. So Hangman does pick up the victory here. Hangman then cut a promo afterwards. He said that he didn't spill a gallon of his blood to win the AEW title just to have another someone like MJF challenge him in a match with stipulations and all that, and to have the stipulations changed and whatnot. And he's basically shitting on, hey, we had a match set, and then Max goaded me into changing those stips. Paige didn't give everything he's had. Paige didn't give everything he's had to this title, and has some associated with a phallus head-like callus get involved. Most important word in all elite wrestling? Well, it's wrestling. Paige is all elite wrestling men's world champion. They pushed that hard here. He said it a couple times, and Fletcher said it a couple times. All elite wrestling men's world champion. They pushed that hard. Men's world champion. Fletcher would come out with Don saying that it was nice and nice sentiment, but none of what you said matters. While Paige holds his title, the Don Callis family runs all elite wrestling and brings up his challenge on Collision that, well, Paige hasn't accepted yet. Paige said that Fletcher is lucky to not have his ass flattened out of here like he did last week, but he understands Fletcher wanted to make a point. Paige told Fletcher to get in the ring and face him eye to eye, as Fletcher whispered to Callis that he had this and went to the ring by himself to accept the challenge. Now, here's a big thing I'm not liking, I guess you would say, from AEW. Why are the world champions being challenged by all these other champions? Why are they having champions that could be doing other matches, defending their titles, challenging the champions? TNT champion Kyle Fletcher challenging Hangman for the world title. Then you look at Toni Storm. She had the ROH Women's World Champion Athena challenging for her title. She had the TBS champion Mercedes Moné challenging for her title. Like, why didn't we have a TBS title match at All In? Your biggest show of the year, and your secondary women's title was not even defended on the show. Let me look at something really fast, actually. AEW All In. I want to say, and I could be wrong here. Yeah, we only had, on that 12-match show, AEW All In, 2 women's matches, the Gauntlet and the World Title match. We could have had 3 if you had a Mercedes title defense as well. Like, you could have got rid of, or added, actually, because Tony's never been against 13 to 14, counting the 3 pre-show matches, but still, like, it's just the lack of women's matches. And then you have 2 champions in one match. We know that the champion is not losing to the champion. We're not getting double champions in AEW. At least I don't think we would. So Palpatine says WWE booking right there. No, it's not. No, it's not. When was the last time a secondary champion challenged for the WWE World Championship? Can you tell me? I can't remember. When was the last time the IC champion challenged for the World Heavyweight title? When was the last time the United States champion challenged for the WWE Championship? Can you tell me? Is Becky as the IC champion challenging for the women's world title? Oh, it's vacant. I'm going to go for it and be two belts Becky again. Or Becky two belts. Like, that could have been a thing where Becky goes, hey, I already got a belt. I want another belt. Becky two belts. Let's do it again, Pierce. But no, that's not a WWE thing. This is a Tony Khan's got nobody ready. So he feels like, oh, well, these guys are champions, guys and girls. Are champions, so they're technically already over. So let's just make them the challengers for the world title. Because he's got nobody ready. As we see with Tony Storm, there's nobody ready. So what does he do? He just picks 3 random women and says, you're all going to challenge Tony for the title at the pay-per-view. Because I got to have a women's world title match. So, yeah. It's like, no. Not a good look there. Not a good look there. They've got nobody ready at the top. It's a very unfortunate. There's nobody ready at the top. And on the women's side of things, they're just randomly throwing women at Tony Storm. On the men's side of things, it's like, they had MJF. But MJF, he's crazy busy, but it looks like he's still working all out, though. So, anyway, Paige said that when he looks at Fletcher, he sees potential. But he also seems someone without socks. And the crowd's chanting, put on socks, put on socks, put on socks. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is the worst fucking chant I've ever seen. And Taz has got to go, hey, that's a style. You know, that's a style, no socks. I'm like, style or not, I think it looks dumb. But the crowd chanting put on socks, like, that tells you right there, and this is going to play into something I'm going to say here in a second. That tells you right there that this crowd will chant for anything. Yet they were dead through most of that women's tag match. A crowd that's going to chant, put on socks. And that was before Hangman even said it. Hangman only said it as a response to the crowd. That women's tag match was such a nothing match, to be honest, no offense. The crowd was dead through most of it. A crowd that will chant put on socks at a guy before Hangman even said it. So it wasn't like they were responding to Hangman. Hangman was reacting to them. What does that tell you? Anyways, Paige put over Fletcher, said you're built like a brick shithouse. You've got all the potential in the world. You're fast. You're strong. You remind me of me 6 years ago, standing in this ring across from Jericho, thinking that I was ready to be the champion. You think you're ready, but you're not. Paige said that Fletcher isn't ready. And Fletcher said, I'm more than ready. Fletcher said that he's heard this his whole life. You're not ready. You're not ready. 26 years old in your prime. I'll tell you when I'm in my prime. I can stay in my prime, and I'm ready to run this business, run this company, and be the AEW World Champion. Paige said if Fletcher truly wants it, earn it. Earn it and do it yourself. Face me man to man alone, nobody else without the Don Callis family. Fletcher said Paige might think that makes a difference, but it doesn't. He doesn't need anybody to beat Hangman. And you got my word. I'll do it alone. Fletcher won't fail. He says that I will beat you and I will become the new champion. He said the one thing that you're overlooking is that I can become the new AEW Men's World Champion. And then you will say my full name. I don't understand what that is. He's been saying that for a couple of weeks now. You will say my full name. Call me by my full name. Everyone calls him Kyle Fletcher. What are we missing here? There's something we're missing? No one just says, hey, Kyle, or hey, Fletch. No, everyone says Kyle Fletcher. Not like with Kyle O'Reilly, where you just call him Kyle. So I don't understand. He's been saying this for a couple of weeks now. Say my full name. You'll call me by my full name. I don't understand that at all. But this was fine. This is all right. This is pretty good. And then the show just kind of went, took a nosedive. Kind of took a nosedive. We got footage of Takeshita defeating Mark Briscoe on Collision. It was shown with help from MJF. Footage of MJF And this was just the dirt worst of promos. MJF is in the garage area, I guess you could say. He goes, hey, Mark, you know where I was yesterday? I was at my wedding getting married. And then what happened? I came here because I hate you. I should be on my honeymoon right now. But I was in my bed. I got out of my bed with the satin sheets and I was about to leave. And my wife said, hey, where are you going? And I looked back and yelled at her, hey, you silly little bitch. And I'm like, whoa, hold the fucking phone. Hold the phone. He goes, I'm going to leave because my real first love is the game. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So we're supposed to think that Alicia Toot married a guy that now got her in an abusive relationship and we're all supposed to be cool with it? That he's just going to, hey, call her a little bitch, silly little bitch, and she's got to just be fine with it? And I know someone's going to say it because they said it to me on Twitter. Well, that's his gimmick. He's a douchebag. Okay, so we're supposed to be cool with him being a douchebag to his wife. Yeah, no, not at all. This was not in good taste. I hated this promo for that line itself. The rest of the promo was a great MJF promo. Talking about how much he hates Mark Briscoe, how he wants to fight Mark Briscoe, how even Mark can choose the stipulation for All Out. He doesn't care. But when he said that I was leaving, I got out of bed and swung the door open. And my wife said, where are you going? I told her, hey, you silly little bitch. I'm like, whoa, hold the phone. No. That ain't it. And I get it. MJF's probably not scripted. He's coming up with these lines by himself. Max, that's not it. I get it. You're probably a sweet, nice husband. Sometimes you play up being a douchebag to her. Maybe. I don't know. Just for shits and giggles. But I doubt that you're calling your wife a little bitch to her face. And if you are, maybe because you guys role playing, maybe all in good fun. But to go on national TV and to basically describe her as such, especially someone that is on the program as well. So it's like now we see her and we're just like, oh, I feel for you. You're stuck with that guy forever now because you married him. Like, no, this wasn't it. This wasn't it at all. But basically he said, I'm going to show up on Collision this week and you pick the stipulation and I'm going to be there ready to accept. Because I'm going to say the same thing I said on my wedding day. I do. By God, I do. Like, it was a good MJF promo outside of the one line. Renee Paquette is backstage. She's catering with the Young Bucks, who said that they will win the $500,000 tag team match tonight. And I'm like, oh my God, another one of these fucking things. I didn't even know this match was happening. Apparently they announced it on social media not long before the show started. Yeah, I wasn't on social media. I was doing other things. I was doing other work stuff for my other job. And so it's like, yeah, I should know by now that Tony is going to announce stuff an hour to an hour and a half before the show starts. My bad. I wasn't thinking. It's like we know with WWE. A lot of times, Adam Pearce on a Saturday or a Sunday, will post a video announcing some stuff for Raw. On a Thursday, Nick Aldis will post a video announcing some things for SmackDown. So we've gotten in the use of, hey, check on Thursday and Sunday for WWE match announcements. Now I guess we gotta get in the habit of, hey, keep your eye on Twitter 2 hours or so before Dynamite because Tony's gonna randomly announce stuff. And here's the thing. 2 weeks ago, Dynamite died in the ratings. 145,000 because they had maybe one thing, if that, announced for Dynamite. Nothing was announced for the show. Then coming in this week, even against a huge football game like Oklahoma and Michigan, they were up. Big time. 300,000 viewers because they had the whole card announced ahead of time. That is an issue. They did it tonight. They announced a number of things for Collision tonight. So that is good. Good to see. But the whole issue is when they don't announce a bunch of stuff in advance and then you're announcing it the day of, your ratings take a hit. Now, granted, they had 4 things announced going into the morning, so that should be enough. They had a Hangman match. They had the street fight and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the, hey, let's announce things right before the show starts. You know what I mean? So But the Young Bucks basically said that, where was I? They're here tonight. They won't be here eating awful food after they get the $500,000. They'll be traveling first class and eating caviar. And I go, fucker's going to run through that $500,000 pretty quick. Is it non-taxable? Because if so, cool. If not, yeah, giving half of that to Uncle Sam. They tried to sit down next to the Dark Order, but were rejected. Spotting Brandon Cutler, they tried to be chummy with him, but he said that he'd be waiting to say this for a long time. Shut up, Young Bucks, before storming off. And I'm just like, this stuff is getting dumb, old, and ridiculous. Like, stupid. Like, if they're really supposed to be treated as jobbers and not getting opportunities, then why are they in a $500,000 match? That we know is, yeah. John Moxley then came in and reminded the Young Bucks who they are and promised that they promised each of them basically $250,000. You guys can split it. Death Riders don't need the winnings. Then we had TBS champion Mercedes Moné and Emi Sakura versus Alex Windsor and Riho. Unfortunately, the match was pretty clunky. And every time I saw Mercedes and Riho in there together, it didn't look good. And I'm like, oh, these two got to work a singles match at the pay-per-view. Ooh, that's not good, because they did not look good together. There was a couple spots that looked fine, but for the most part, it didn't look that good. The small, slight, quick interactions we got between Mercedes and Riho didn't look all that great. And now they got to work a singles match. Oof-ah. This was Riho's first Dynamite match since March of last year. Emi Sakura's first since October, ironically enough, against, Mercedes Moné, who she's now teaming with. Sakura planted Riho with a slam early on, but Riho was able to bridge out of a pin attempt, delivered a drop kick and a tiger feint kick before tagging in Windsor. She baited Moné in and delivered an assisted head scissors with Riho, who then launched off Windsor's back with a flying elbow on Moné. The two then kind of kept in control. Riho tagged back in with a half crab on Sakura, but Moné pulled her partner to the floor. Windsor then flew out of camera shot with a somersault senton, and a Riho followed with a crossbody to the floor as things went to a commercial break. Later on in the match, Riho delivered a top rope double stomp and a sliding drop kick for a 2. Both were slow to get to their feet, as Mercedes was able to drop Riho and use Sakura for the assisted rope senton for a 2, as Windsor made the save, only to be sent packing very quickly. Sakura then wanted the Queen's Gambit, but Riho escaped and sank in a half crab. Windsor then trapped Moné in a sharpshooter, and then Emi Sakura and Moné would simultaneously tap out. And there we go. Riho technically gets the win because she was the legal competitor. It was whatever. Nothing special and quite clunky in most of it. And the crowd was pretty dead for most of it too. That was the other thing. The crowd didn't care for this match. And this is a crowd that will chant for just about anything. They were dead for this match. Renee Paquette's in the back. She's with Ricochet and GOA. Basically, Ricochet was like, hey, Shelton, we fighting tonight. About gentleman's agreement. 1-on-1. I keep my guys in the back. You keep your guys in the back. We keep this thing copacetic or whatever until all out. Then all 6 of us will get there and we'll all fight then. He said it all out. Our hands will be raised in victory, and the Hurt Syndicate will have no choice but to respect us. And that's not a choice. It's a demand. I don't know if that's like a new catchphrase he's trying to get over, but cool. So Renee Paquette delivered a by the numbers video on FTR, Christian Cage and Copeland, talking about all their accomplishments and saying, Christian Cage and Copeland combined have won 18 world titles. And I'm like, how many has Christian really won? Was it 2, 3 if you count TNA? Let me see. Hold on. Christian Cage. Because what's Cope? 11-time world champion, I think. What's Christian got? 2 in WWE, 1 or 2 in TNA. Let's see. 2-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. One-time Impact World Champion. Okay, I didn't remember that one. So that's 3 there. And then in WWE, 2 times. So he's a 5-time world champion if you count the TNA stuff. I totally forgot he won the Impact title. I knew he was NWA champion twice. He did that one where he never technically was beaten to lose the title because it was a 3-way that Sting won, I want to say. Then he eventually got the belt back. But yeah. But they said, between these 2 men, Christian and Adam Copeland, they've won 58 championships. They're like, I hate when they do that kind of stuff. 58 titles. Yeah, well, they won what? He's won what? 7, 8, 9, 12, 10, 12 tag titles. Cope's won how many tag titles? It's like, what's Cope got? What's Cope got world title-wise again? I can't remember. It is, I want to say it's 11. In WWE 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 7 world heavyweight, 4 WWE championship. And then as a tag champion, he's a 14-time tag team champion, 5-time intercontinental champion, 1-time United States champion. So, yeah, you're really trying to make it sound better than it is. And then they said, who will come out the greatest tag team of all time? And I'm like, well, the Hardys aren't there, so none of them. Stokely and FTR come out, and you hear Stokely on the mic, whoa, that video package was bullshit. He said, the greatest tag team in the world is going to win and All Out every week. Stokely hears the same thing. Shut up, Stokely. You don't get any hoes, Stokely. Despite hearing that, everyone in the 23 arena look like extras from Roseanne, so no one is getting hoes. I'm like, damn, what kind of line is that? Extras from Roseanne, so you ain't getting no hoes. What? Also, why the shade on Roseanne? Roseanne was fucking amazing. I loved Roseanne back in the day. Heck, I loved that they brought it back. So sad that Roseanne Barr went crazy again. But then, hey, we got freaking The Connors for 6 seasons, which was awesome on ABC. So, win-win. I guess Roseanne Barr didn't get to be Roseanne for more than a season because she pissed off way too many people. And ABC said, hey, either you leave the show, we fire you, or everyone's out of a job. And so they just got rid of her. But, yeah. The Connors was a great show for 6 seasons. Yeah, they had to deal with the death of Roseanne, and they said just overdose, and they killed her off and everything, so there was no hope of bringing her back unless they wanted to do like a final episode ghost scene. But go watch the Connors on ABC. It's done now. It finished up in the last season. They did like a short 6-episode final little run to let them finish their story deal. But also, Peacock's got, I know we're getting off topic here, all of the original Roseanne on Peacock. Go watch all the original Roseanne. Roseanne was such a great show. Some may even say a little ahead of its time. Roseanne Barr and John Goodman were so great in that show. And John Goodman, back as Dan Connor in Roseanne, the 1 season, the 6 seasons of the Connors. John Goodman's freaking great. Anyways, Dax Harwood said that this could have and should have been a dream match, but he said that he's heard enough of the fans wanting to fight, so let's fight. Also, I can't remember if it was before they got in the ring or whatnot, but he got in a fan's face again, like I think Cash did last time, but he got in a fan's face. They were literally screaming at each other. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And like I heard someone say something about banning me on Twitter. I don't know. Stupid ass shit. Where was I? Referees and security came down as wait. My notes are all kinds of off here. Oh, okay. They told Cope and Christian, you want to fight. Harwood then got in the face of multiple fans, bumping into the camera and shoving down an assistant, holding the camera cord, basically beating them all up in the process. Referees and security came out to back him off. Danielson said that he wasn't sure what any of this was about. And I'm like, neither do we know. None of this makes sense. And this was very odd. Cope and Christian never came out. They didn't fight. And they were just beating up production people. What the fuck was all of this? This was not needed. This was stupid as shit. This made no sense. What? I was just sitting here going, what the fuck am I watching right now? They knocked over a camera guy. So the camera's just laying there on its side for a whole minute. And then they cut to the shot up here. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And then for commentary to go, I don't know what any of this is about means, but okay, cool, sure. Like, wow. This sucked. Renee Paquette's backstage with the Hurt Syndicate. Benjamin cuts off MVP and says, hey, Ricochet, keep the gates of agony in the back. MVP, Lashley, they'll stay back here as well. And I'll put your goofy ass on your back. Then we got Ricochet versus Shelton Benjamin. Like I said, I mean, this match wasn't bad. But they did the thing that I was expecting. Ricochet says, hey, keep your boys in the back. I'll keep my boys in the back. And then he didn't keep his boys in the back. So they start fighting right at the bell. Ricochet sent Benjamin outside with a drop kick and a wild dive before giving the fist bump to Taz. And I'm like, why are all of these matches starting the same way? Punch, punch, punch. Dump them to the floor. Dive to the floor. All these matches are starting the exact same way. Huh? You got no coordination between your producers to say, hey, our match is starting like this, so maybe you need a different sequence. Our match is starting like this, so you need a different sequence. I get the WWE thing, and AEW does it sometimes too. Big dive to go to a commercial. Cool. Okay, whatever. That's telling the fans, hey, we're about to hit a break. But when all your matches are starting the exact same way, it gets a little old and repetitive. It's the big thing we said a lot about AEW, where you have these big, cool moves, but when you're doing the same big, cool move or the same spot in like 3 matches, it's not cool anymore. So Benjamin hits a huge kick on Ricochet right on cue. He guzzled Ricochet, chucked him into the corner, and hit a running step-up knee before ragdolling Ricochet outside from the barricade onto the apron. Back inside the ring, Benjamin no-sold the forearm and launched Ricochet with the pump handle drop. He took a little too long to follow up, and Ricochet hit a baseball slide and a running drop kick off the apron to take control, going into commercial break. Back from the commercial break, the crowd was chanting, "We bald people, we bald people," and I'm just like, again, this crowd will chant for any fucking stupid thing, but they were dead quiet for most of that women's tag match. If that don't tell you something, I hate to say it. Emi Sakura, you're barely ever on the show, so why should the fans care? Riho, you're barely ever on the show, so why should the fans care? Then you got Mercedes and Windsor, or should I say Windsor? Yet they're not cheering for them either. So the only woman that's fully really over, there's 2. It's Toni Storm gets really good reactions. You pop for Willow when she comes out. Other than that, it's kind of hit or miss in the women's division in AEW because so many women just get thrown around and you're randomly in this and you're randomly doing that and you're randomly in this and you're randomly doing that. You don't have time to invest in women when, how do I say it? No one's being positioned in like a prominent spot or role. So Benjamin takes down Ricochet, basically taking him to Suplex City, shot after shot after shot. There's another step-up knee in the corner. Benjamin at one point swung Ricochet's legs through the ropes and delivered a pump kick. It took too long to follow up yet again. Ricochet scaled the ropes and hit a Spanish fly for a 2. Ricochet tried to use his golden scissors, but Benjamin put a stop to it and turned Ricochet inside out with a lariat. Benjamin then grabbed the scissors, and we got ECW chants from the crowd here as he snapped him in half. Bishop Khan then showed up and distracted the referee long enough for Toa Lioa to come out and appear, deck Benjamin with a headbutt, and this allowed Ricochet to just roll him up and pick up the win. So, yeah, you keep your guys in the back, I'll keep mine. We knew Ricochet wasn't. This was so blatantly obvious from the beginning. I'm like, how long till the Gates of Agony show up? And they did. Post-match, MVP and Lashley come out to ringside and brawl with GOA as Lioa and Lashley especially didn't really budge from their brawl. They didn't really do much of anything. Benjamin caught Ricochet with a thrust kick, Security had to separate everybody, and Ricochet almost looked like he was body surfing on a security guard, celebrating his victory. And then they were all carried to the back. Yeah, match was fine. Finish was dumb and shitty and predictable. And then we got a post-match angle that kind of was just there. Nothing special. So we get Hook sitting on a rooftop saying that he will always respect Samoa Joe and that the Ops always have his back. After Joe explained it to him last week, now he gets it. When one gets hurt, someone steps up. That said, maybe it's time for Hook to stand on his own. And again, maybe not. Basically, what Hook said here was, maybe I'm with the Ops, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm by myself, maybe I'm not. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Basically what Hook said. Where we're going, oh, Hook's back. What are they going to do with him? He then tells us, you know what they're going to do with me? I don't know. You know what they're going to do? I don't know. Am I by myself? I don't know. Am I in the Ops? I don't know. What am I going to know? I don't know. It's basically what the fuck Hook told us. We don't know what his direction is, and it seems like he don't know what his direction is. Tony Schiavone's in the back with Kyle Fletcher when they officially announced Tony Khan has made it official. Kyle Fletcher will challenge Hangman Page for the title at AEW All Out. Fletcher says that he respects Don says he respects Fletcher's decision to do it alone. Doing this match by himself. He has all the tools necessary to defeat the Hangman. Fletcher said that he's going to need Callis to trust him on this one. He's going to bring that AEW World title to the family. Callis said, I love it. So then we get the fucking street fight. Timeless Tony Storm versus Sky Blue. Why does this match need to be a street fight? Can somebody explain it to me? No, because there is no reason why it had to be a street fight. I hate when fucking they do shit like this in any wrestling company. Now, if it's like GCW, where storylines aren't really a big deal, PWG, which is not really a thing anymore, you know, Wrestling Revolver, ICW, AAW, like on all those indies where it's like storylines are there-ish, but not really. We're just doing a death match to do it for the hell of it. Fine. But in a company like AEW where they try to say, you know, we got storylines and things make sense, this didn't at all. Like, it would have made a little sense, not the street fight part, but if Sky Blue was one of the opponents in the four-way, like we get a preview of that four-way women's title match, like you could have done Tony Storm and Tekla, whatever you want to call her. No, you just give us Sky Blue. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So Tony Storm comes out and she's got a kendo stick and a beer. Pulled a sign off the wall and smashed her beer in her head like the Sandman. Basically did a Sandman intro tribute. Blue then rushed the ring with the stick of her own. Got in some shots to start, but Storm rolled out and cracked Blue in the ribs with her stick. It was a stick measuring contest, basically. Who's got the bigger stick? Storm then played a stop sign like she was New Jack, strumming a guitar. Taz said that she's playing all the hits here in the ECW or 2300 arena. Couldn't say ECW. Blue then avoided a sweet cheek music and produced the stapler. Tony Storm was kind of sitting on the bottom rope with her butt hanging out of the ring. So what does she do? Staple to one ass cheek, staple to the other ass cheek. She gets her in the ring, drops the stapler in the ring, throws her into the corner, and then what does she do? Staple to one titty, staple to the other titty. I'm like, oh no, don't fucking do it. This is the dumbest fucking staple to the vagina. I'm like, are you kidding me? So fucking dumb. And fucking Taz is over here trying to commentate and he's giggling. He finds this funny as shit. He can't keep it together. Danielson says he's revolted, can't even look. And then Storm got the staple gun and got a little revenge, stapling Blue in the crotch and hitting a hip attack to the floor. Taz yelled, get her a beer as we go to a break. Both ladies then brawled onto the barricade before both crotched one another at the same time, only to continue their slugfest. Blue decked Storm with the fan sign, and I'm like sitting here going, okay, you're crotched each other. It's not like you got balls. It ain't, there's a really... Someone in the chat, female, please tell me, when you get kicked in the crotch, does it really hurt that bad? I wouldn't know. I'm not a dude. I'm a dude, not a girl. So it's like, does it really hurt as much as it hurts a dude? Like them falling on the barricade like that, and then them selling like, oh, does it really hurt that bad? Like, I get it's going to hurt a little bit, of course. Falling on the barricade like that, oh, of course. Anyways, Toni Storm unveils a big giant table. She pulls the lid off of it, and it says on the bottom, "Smell a rat." And the table is covered in rat traps, mouse traps. And Storm grabs a piece of cheese and starts nibbling at it. So she gives it to Danielson, and Danielson goes, "Oh, no, sorry, dairy. Don't do dairy." So she throws Taz says no, so she throws it at Excalibur, and he takes a fucking bite of it. Anyways, she goes and she gets the finger of Sky Blue, puts it on the mousetrap, then kind of like unlatches it, and then lets it just slightly fall on her finger. Or that's not going to hurt. So then they get up on the apron, and I'm like, really? All that mousetraps for nothing? And so they get up on the apron. Sky Blue jumps down or whatever, tries to grab Toni for a power bomb, eventually gets her. Power bombs are on this table. None of the mousetraps go off. Then the table falls over. Toni then falls down, and she's got her face right in the crotch of Sky Blue. And then Sky Blue kind of pushes Toni aside. Then the mousetraps start going off, so Toni runs off. Sky Blue kind of goes, ah! And this was the fucking dumbest. Danielson's trying to cover for this, going, hey, just fans, so you know, when us wrestlers get thrown through tables, it hurts a lot worse when the table doesn't break. We'd prefer that the table breaks because it takes some of the giveaway. And Taz is like, oh, yeah, that's true. I've been thrown through many tables that didn't break. Hurt real bad. And I'm just like, yeah. Especially Toni wearing the mechanics jumpsuit deal. None of those mousetraps did anything to her. Yeah, Excalibur's trying to say, oh, the mousetrap's snapping her in the back. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The crowd then starts chanting, we want cheese. We want cheese. As Excalibur perfectly says, Blue had a wedge on a chair in the corner. Yeah, you get it? Blue, cheese, wedge of cheese. Anyways, Storm got the chair, hit Blue in the midsection, and DDT'd her on it. Flattened her. After setting up a trash can, both ladies fought up the ropes. Sky slid out, trapped Storm, and hit a Chicken Nando's kick before powerbombing Storm onto the trash can for a 2. Storm avoided a code Blue onto a chair, brained Blue with the chair, like just placed a sign in her face, but the sign kind of fell down. So when she did the sweet cheek music, the sign was like pushed up into her jaw. That didn't look good. She then delivered a Storm Zero onto the chair that looked very weak and pinned her 1, 2, 3. This was not good. I didn't care for any of this match. All the spots they were trying to do, none of them to me hit. It was just meh. After the match, Julia Hart and Tekla run out. They attack until Chris Statlander runs down to make the save. Jamie Hayter then runs out to make the save. And it's like, oh, hey, the same thing we've seen at the end of almost every other match. The opening match, Don Callis people come out. They're fighting. Then after the Ricochet match, all the Hurt Business, Syndicate come out there fighting after the match. Now this match, all these random ass women come out there fighting after the match. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? After every match other than the women's tag match, we had a brawl. Even in the main event, the match ends, and then Brody King grabs the Young Bucks, still starts trying to fucking fight with them. Jamie Hayter sprints out there, like I said, tries to even the odds. They're all fighting Hart and Tekla until Hart ducked a clothesline, and Hayter mowed over Statlander. Hayter mowed over Statlander. Hart then planted Hayter with a leg sweep on the outside, leaving Tekla alone with Storm in the ring, doing her spider pose. Oh, so scary. Tekla then planted Storm with a spear and stood tall with the AEW Women's title. Yeah, Toni Storm ain't losing that belt. That's the thing. They've got nobody built up to where now they got to pick just 4 random women, and none of them can be the champion. No offense. But if, like, there's no one thinks that any of them are beating Toni Storm. Tell me I'm telling lies. Nobody thinks that any of these 3 women are going to beat Toni Storm for the title, because none of them can run with the title right now. None of them are built up enough for the fans to see as the world champion. Fuck. I don't see even any of these women in good standing for the TBS title. Statlander, maybe, probably not. You put the TBS title on her, and it's kind of just like, oh, okay, cool. Julia Hart, well, she's been gone for a while. Tekla, she wasn't getting over to the point where they had put her in a group. So it's like, yeah, none of this does anything for me at all. And speaking of the women, Renee Paquette's in the back with Willow. And she's talking about how for months she wanted to punch Marina Shafir. She hates her, but she wants to punch her in the face really, really bad. And then Harley Cameron comes up with her guitar and is just like singing a song to Willow. And she's like, Willow, join my group. Be with me in Statlander and I'll paint a cat on your face. And then she's like, oh, I'd really love to have a cat on my face. Yeah, paint a cat on it, but I can't do it with Statlander. I cannot be with Statlander. We know who her real friends are. You can't trust her, Harley. You know where her true allegiance lies. Just know that. You can't trust her. And then like Paquette and Cameron slowly finish the song. Cat on the face. And I'm like, okay. It just felt way random. It really just felt like a lot of random shit thrown against the wall. So then they tell us we're getting a unified championship tournament. At All Out, we will have a 3-way for the AEW Unified Championship. And let me pull this graphic up on the screen really fast. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just pull this up here. Let's see if I can. I had it. Where did I save it to is the question. Tag nabbit. I don't think I saved it in the right spot. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. Boom, boom, boom. Give me 2 seconds, guys, to re-get it. I know Fightful's got an article up about it, so we'll just pull up their article. Open image. Go here. Full screen it. There we go. Okay. Moving forward, they announced that we are getting a tournament that will lead to a 3-way at All Out for the AEW Unified Championship. And as far as that tournament does go, let's look at this here on the screen. On Collision this Saturday, Kazuchika Okada will take on Michael Oku. So it's like, is that a title match? So if Oku wins, he's the champion going in? Don't think so. Okada's winning. Then we got Konosuke Takeshita versus Anthony Bowens. Again, you guess who's winning that one? It's not Bowens. It's Takeshita. Then we have next Wednesday, September to Remember, which is a fucking 3-hour block. Beast Mortos versus Mascara Dorada. I think you can tell who's winning that one. Beast Mortos. But here's the freaking thing. They've been building up for weeks now. Weeks. Probably since All In. That Takeshita and Okada have a big man complex. Both want to be the top guy in the Don Callis family. Both want the spotlight of the Don Callis family and don't really get along. There's tension there. So we're thinking, everybody. Well, it's probably going to lead to a match between the two at All Out. One-on-one. Nope. Tony's got to overbook every fucking thing. And he's got to add freaking Mortos probably to this. This makes no sense. What did I say earlier about things not making sense? This makes no sense when you actually had the story there. You had it. You've been building to it. And then you just fumble the bag. You really just fumble the bag. Come on. Are you kidding me? This should be Okada versus Takeshita. And that match would rule. Rule. What are you saving it for? The finals of the C3? Or the C2? The Continental Classic finals? Okada and Takeshita? No, give it to us now. You're building to it already. Oh, we're gonna tease it in this triple threat. There is no reason this needs to be a triple threat. What they should have done was Takeshita challenge him for the belt. Just say, hey, I know we're both Don Callis family, but Don, I want his title. I want to show that I'm the better man. I'm the star of the Don Callis family. Let me challenge him for the unified title. All they needed to do. It was already built in with their tension and they're not really fully getting along. But you got to go and you got to overbook it like always. Always. And it's dumb. 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 But with all of that, before we talk about the main event here, tag team champions Brodito, trios champions The Ops, taking on the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. Here from our sponsor. Let's be real. Life moves fast and dinner shouldn't slow you down. That's where Factor comes in. Factor 75 delivers fresh, never frozen meals straight to your door so you can skip the grocery store, the prep, and the cleanup. Just heat and eat and get back to crushing your day. Whether you're keto, calorie conscious, or just want to eat clean without sacrificing flavor, Factor has chef-crafted options that actually taste like real food. Maybe you want pancakes for breakfast, chicken for lunch, and a steak for dinner. Factor has you covered. And here's the kicker. These meals are ready to go in just 2 minutes. That's less time it takes to scroll through your delivery app and regret your choices. So if you want to fuel your hustle without any hassle, then sign up for a Factor 75 subscription today. Use our code below, scan the QR code on the screen, or use our link in the description to get 50% off your order. Eat smart, live fully with Factor. And we're back. So we had a $500,000 10-man tag team match. Again, why is this so hard that you've got so many people on your roster? I'll get everybody on TV. Let's just fucking throw everybody in everything. And then it's just such a jumbled mess. Again, just another party match that I was not into at all. At all. The match here kind of sucked. And it was all about getting to the post-match with two guys focused on that weren't even in the match. What? So the Bucks come out and like they got the old Dynamite theme playing, and then they got like ID card pictures of them with like bad photos taken. You know, they're over here saying we're not going to put any effort into your entrances because you're jobbers now, you're not EVPs, and they're fucking putting even more effort into their entrances now that they're jobbers and EVPs. I'm over this dumb stuff. Nick and Bandito start things off, and it's pretty good opening sequence here. Nick and Bandito, great together. Nick gets a quick pin attempt, but not much there to it. Because the Bucks are trying to cheat. He got caught by the ref, Rick Knox. He kicked the hands free. Knocks the King, then tags in. Stacks the Bucks on top of each other, and it's a running senton. Bandito tagged back in and did the Macarena. But again, King wouldn't do it with him. Like, they're building this to where eventually they're probably gonna do it at a pay-per-view, and the crowd's gonna pop. Because like he keeps doing the come on, do it with me, King. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Eventually he's gonna get him to do it. Where like they're in a tag title match or something on a pay-per-view in front of a big crowd, and they got their opponents down, so they're gonna do it. And then he's gonna finally go, fine. And then the crowd's gonna pop when he finally does it. But he's gonna do it all like not into it kind of thing. You know how it's gonna be. You know what it's gonna be. So they're just wasting fucking time here. Wasting time. Because, you know, we got to get that overrun in. Even though we really don't need to get the overrun in. Because the overrun really usually kills the ratings. Nick got his knees up on an assisted Casadora splash. Yuta then tagged in. But so did Joe, and they go face to face. He demolished Yuta. Like, demolished him. Where Danielson said something on commentary to the point of, I really like this guy and thought we had a good relationship. Till, well, he tried to choke me out with a plastic bag. Shibata eventually tagged in at one point and ran a back elbow into Yuta's face. Drop kicked him, allowing Castagnoli to tag in and pepper Shibata with some uppercuts. Everyone starts fighting here for a little while. King hit a tope suicida. Castagnoli was ping-ponged all over the ring until Bandito got a assist from King and hit a massive springboard moonsault to the pile. And then delivered a frog splash on Castagnoli for a 2 as they go to a break. A little bit later in the match, Castagnoli tried his hardest, but couldn't do the giant swing on Brody King as the Bucks started a super kick party, which was ended by Bandito, who hit an X knee on Nick, but Matt saved his brother from a 21-plex. Bandito then sent Nick to the floor, tried a monkey flip on Matt, but Matt planted Bandito, got a jackknife pin out of nowhere. Nick held his brother's feet, They stole the victory. So earlier where they tried to cheat and the ref caught him and said no, well, they did it at the end anyways. And they cheated. They grabbed the money. They tried to run off. But there, they were stopped by Brodito. Shibata and Joe were beaten on the floor by the Death Riders. Hobbs was as well in the ring until, well, Darby would sprint out to try to make the save, sending Moxley flying with a shotgun dropkick. Allen then trash-talked Moxley until somebody in a hoodie would attack him. Now, first we're like, oh, Gabe Kidd again? No. Hoodie comes off and it's Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is there. Met with the, you sold out, you sold out, you sold out chant. And I'm like, sold out for what? He's been floundering and not doing shit. Now you're going to put him with Death Riders. He's actually going to do shit. So, I'd rather this than nothing. He's been kind of a loser recently. But Danielson here is baffled at this decision by Garcia. Shafir then brings a chair into the ring. Garcia does a curb stomp to Darby on it. But the first one completely missed the chair. So Moxley basically like, hey, no, do this, put his head right here. But basically I had to tell him what the fuck to do. So he does it again because he fucked it up the first time. Then Moxley whispers something at him. And so he just starts stomping on Darby. Garcia's beating the crap out of him. He's throwing hammer shots and it's looking all right or whatever. And Moxley and Shafir then left through the crowd. And Allen's just kind of dead, barely moving. So, like, the whole match itself was a nothing match. It was just a party match that I didn't care about and that was not even all whatever. All to get to the post-match, that was just, oh, hey, Darby, you got another guy you got to fucking worry about now because Garcia's with the Death Riders. And that's also telling us Garcia's now a heel with the Death Riders. Cool. Like, it did nothing for me. It really did nothing for me. But we do have a couple of things announced for the upcoming Collision and next week's Dynamite. On Collision this week, Kazuchika Okada will take on Michael Oku. Konosuke Takeshita will take on Anthony Bowens. Again, we're getting a rematch from last week. Just doing it again. FTR versus Billington and Priest. Excuse me. I'm like, why? Why do we need a match again? Mark Briscoe will announce a stipulation for his match with MJF at All Out. And MJF said he'll be there. And then next week, the Beast Mortos will take on Mascara Dorada. So, yeah, that's AEW Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen. Just an all right show. Good stuff with Hangman, but other than that, everything else was just there at best. So with that, you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Dynamite as we go and refresh all these polls. Boom, 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 boom. As far as the Threads poll does go, everybody that voted on Threads liked the show. Okay. Ooh, here we go. As far as the X poll does go, 40% thought it was just all right. 30% liked it. 30% didn't like it. As far as the community poll does go, 65% liked the show, 18% didn't like the show, and 17%, read that way wrong, thought it was just all right. As far as the live poll does go, 77% liked it, 12% thought it was just all right, and 11% didn't like it. Finally, as far as Twitch poll, everybody that voted thought it was just all right. With that, that is going to wrap everything up. I do want to say one thing, though. No matter if you believe what somebody else believes, and whether that's religious views or political views or anything, why do we got to be haters online? Why do I have to see all this bullshit on the internet? A man was murdered today, assassinated, and people are out here laughing, cheering, celebrating. Whether you like what the man said, Charlie Kirk, whether you didn't like what the man said in the past about whatever, to go on the internet and be making jokes about it, a man that has died, that was killed, that is now leaving behind a wife, a daughter that is 3, and a son that is 1. And I've seen now people making jokes with Christian Cage's, oh, I'm your father now promos. Don't bring the fucking kids into this. That's ridiculous. We need to do better as a society. Way better. So rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. gone way too soon at the age of 31. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live on Friday morning for the wrestling wrap-up, Friday evening for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a good one, guys, and we'll see you next time. All right, if you're still watching live on Twitch, we're going to hit up a raid really